Hello, I'm Mario and I am out camping with my rooftop tent. This is kind of a shakedown for the RoofNest. I've had it for several months, maybe even, well, maybe not quite a year, but I've had it for quite a while. And yes, I've slept in it several times, but this is my first kind of dispersed camping, kind of shakedown trip. And in this video, what I want to do is provide everyone, well, with an overview of the rooftop tent itself, but also kind of a first impressions. So I'm currently in White Mountains National Forest, and as I mentioned, this is a dispersed camp spot. I arrived here yesterday, set up camp, and so I've already had my coffee and had a small bite to eat. This is basically how the tent looks, how the truck looks, how my camp looks after I climb out of bed. And what we're going to do next is go ahead and climb inside and see what it looks like inside. So I'm over here on the driver's side, and I purchased this tent, this RoofNest Sparrow, I want to say towards the end of 2020. So there are newer models out right now. You can't get this model anymore, but there's newer versions. And so I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I'm not going to be making comparisons between this tent and other rooftop tents, or this tent and the newer RoofNest Sparrows. That's not the objective here. I just don't have any opinion on those. But I do want to mention that this one does have the heavier denier fabric. I have used it in the rain before, and I would say it's effective. I was worried about it shedding water, and it shedded water just fine. I was worried about it being able to dry off so I could close the RoofNest, and it didn't have any issues. And so the zippers on the outside here, they're easy to use for the rain flap, but for some reason for the screen, there's no access to the zipper tab. There's only a tab on the inside and not from the outside. So that's a little bit of a struggle for me. Not sure why they did that. And so with a little bit of practice, climbing in and out is not a huge chore. What I do is I have a plastic bag for my shoes, so I just take them off. They go straight into the plastic bag. That bag is dedicated for shoes. So I definitely appreciate the exterior flap, and I can access the exterior flap from the inside or the outside, but I can only access the screens from the inside. The zipper doesn't have the little tab access on the exterior, as I mentioned before. And so these little rings here, these are nice because they help hold the exterior flap in place. So that way the inside of the flap isn't hanging to the outside, and you can kind of control some of your debris and stuff getting on the inside. But I did close the rooftop tent up and managed to break off one of these little plastic things already. It was kind of like the first time I ever even closed it. So they're nice, but they're right at the edge of where the metal frame is, right there. So you got to be careful about that. But yeah, they just basically hang to the outside, and there's not a lot of room between the screen and the exterior, but works nice. I like it. So I really like the mesh screens here, and they work very well. I don't have any issues with no-see-ums or anything, so the screens themselves are effective. They don't seem to be getting kinked up, torn, wrinkled, or anything like that, so that's kind of cool. So in light rain, this is very effective. I have used it and I was very happy with the results. I was able to close the tent back up and not have issues with it being super wet on the inside. So drying it out was relatively easy. Obviously you need a nice clear sunny day, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And so the seams and everything seemed to work very well. This is the strut which holds everything in place, and it is a little cumbersome to have it here, but I don't know where else you would put it. And they do give you one replacement gas strut with the tent, or at least they did for me. And yeah, I got this little rubber pads here to help protect yourself, and I like them. They work out. They're strong enough. And the other thing about the interior is it does have a little zipper here, so the interior shell liner can be totally replaced. There are little pockets on each side, one of these on each side, and plenty of room. So at 5'8", I can kind of put my toes at the top of the roof, and still have room for my pillow and a little bit of space up here. So it would definitely be cramped if there were 2 people in here, or if you were 6 feet tall. I could see that being an issue. You'd probably be sleeping diagonally by yourself if you were 6 feet. So as I mentioned, this really is a shakedown trip for me, in that I'm just seeing what supplies and things that I might need to be comfortable in the rooftop tent. I have slept in it before on several occasions, but this is the first time kind of being out camping and making sure that I have everything on my list and that sort of stuff, versus before I was sleeping in it and my travel trailer was just outside. So if I needed anything, I could get out and go to the travel trailer. But what I'm getting at here is about the mattress and the bedding and everything that I keep inside the tent here has been good for temperatures, say above 50 degrees. And so like last night, it was in the low 50s, I'm guessing. When I woke up and checked the temperature at 8 a.m., it was 57 degrees, and sunrise was somewhere around 5 a.m. So probably a low of about low 50s. But what I'm getting at is when it gets to those temperatures, the memory foam, it kind of seems to forget, it loses its memory to expand when you move. So it's nice because you don't have pressure points, but if you roll to your side or roll to the other side, you might find yourself back where you started because it doesn't expand in cold temperatures. So that's something to think about, but I don't know what the solution is. That's just food for thought. But as far as the foam mattress, yeah, it's rather thick, and there is this crazy vapor barrier. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is an actual vapor barrier. And then what I do is I have these silica packets that I just kind of toss in the corners along the edges. This here is a little trough right here. The shock goes right in here. This strut here goes into this cavity here. So this little cutout here in the mattress is reserved for that. So you can't put bedding in there and close the tent out, but I have just a regular bed sheet, a regular cotton blanket, and then I have another one of these. I don't know what the heck you call these things, but they're fuzzy on the inside. I don't know, some sort of synthetic blanket. So I got all of that and a pillow. This stuff stays in here all the time. When it's closed, I have at least those items inside here at all times. So even when temperatures are in the low 50s, this is very comfortable for me. It's more comfortable than my sleeping arrangements that I have in my GeoPro travel trailer. I don't know if you guys know, it's more comfortable than the kitchen floor in my GeoPro travel trailer. But yeah, to finish up on the inside, I do have this cargo net here. I do use this cargo net. I use this thing a lot. I'll just put my change of clothes, whatever I'm going to be wearing in the morning, that sort of stuff can just sit up there. I stow my pillow in here in this area when I'm ready to close things up. And then on the roof, there's this very thin foam liner that's glued onto the roof of the fiberglass shell. And so it's kind of nice. I like it. I like it a lot. It's, I don't know what else to add to it other than it works. I'm happy with it. And Yeah, I mean, there are some negatives to this, and I'm going to kind of touch on a couple of those things. But this thing is relatively new to me. This is a shakedown trip for me, and so I don't really fully understand all of the negatives, and I don't fully understand how to appreciate this setup fully as of yet. So this is just kind of an initial overview. And so, as I mentioned, getting in and out, it's not the easiest thing in the world. It takes some practice, but yeah, I just try to get my toes on the ladder and back out like so. One thing that I do is I try to I bring the zipper down as far as I can, and then try to make sure I have a hold on the damn rooftop tent itself. And then after that, then I feel comfortable enough to start backing out. Yeah, not the easiest, and you got to remember what side your ladder is on when you wake up. You know, make sure you're awake, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So these telescoping ladders, they seem to be standard affair for rooftop tents, and it seems to be working out okay. I have troubles with getting this thing to stay in a specific spot. As you can see here, it wants to slide back and up and against the actual truck until it finds a place to stop. So you know, I'd prefer to have it kind of stay here in this position, but what happens is this rung here is not locked. I would have to telescope it way out to here, and then it could lock. But then what happens is as I'm climbing up the ladder, I'm putting a lot of force down and into the center of the ladder. So I don't know what the solution is. If I choose not to lock these up top here, they seem to bind a lot easier, meaning when I go to use the ladder again, I have issues telescoping and locking them in an out position. They don't function as well when you don't lock each one. So I don't know what the solution is, other than I just leave the larger ones unlocked so that I can adjust the ladder where I need it. So being a pickup truck, I don't have much use for the ladder on the back door here, but there is a support, you know, that you can attach the ladder here to the back or on either side. So I like those options, that at least the options are there. And so when I'm getting ready to close things up, I'll just use this tailgate here to access this back area here, and it seems to work out pretty good. And even climbing up on one of the tires seems to also help. So instead of moving the ladder around, I'll just climb up on one of the tires and try to access what I need to get things closed up. One thing that's interesting is mounting these supports. At least it's interesting to me. There's a little hole that I have to find, and it's all the way over here to the edge of this little access panel, and it's just not easy figuring out how to get that in there, and easy to come out. So if it's windy, I'm thinking there's going to be some issues, but I use it. It's nice. And yeah, there's a bag for these, but I just lay them there flat on the bed, and then that's ready for travel. If it is raining, you can zipper this panel closed, but what I do is I just coil it up when I'm ready to store it. I wasn't able to film it because it's kind of a hassle to get this thing coiled up. If I was taller, then it wouldn't be a hassle, but if I was taller, I wouldn't fit inside the tent. But it's just outside my reach, at least with the rack that I have, to get this started here. So what I'm referring to is getting this little thing coiled up in here. I have to hold the tent down close enough with one hand, and then with one hand get this thing latched here, and then I can get this up and out of the way. And once I have the one side done, then I can come over here, and there's this little thing here. This is really short. If this was longer, that would be helpful. I guess I could try to replace it, but it's like, I don't know, it's just short enough to be useful, and then also kind of a pain. But at any rate, once it's here, then I can go ahead, and I got extra hands to tidy things up, including getting this little flap out of the way and tucking things down in the and out of the way along the seam on the sides. And here's an example of what I was talking about. That little strap can help hold this in position to get things situated. If I don't prep this area in advance, then it's really difficult to get it tucked in to place here with that strap there. It's like I have a little bit just kind of, I can't get it in there easily, but at any rate, it's in there. As you can see, with it strapped in position, I was able to get things tucked away. One thing that I always manage to do is I'll go ahead and I'll connect this thing to make things easy for me, and then forget that I have to put this pull strap on the inside. Right here is where the struts are. It's hard for me to decide if I should be, where I should be packing this stuff so that it doesn't get tangled up or messed up. On this side, I have the flap is closed, and I can kind of, with it zippered, I can get it all kind of above the strut. But on this side, I have the window open, and then it's kind of like getting things pinched up inside here. So it's almost like having the window closed is better. Closed and zipped up. So standing on the tailgate, I need both hands to manage the buckles over here and this little center strap here. There's just no way for me to do it without both hands. So even standing on the tailgate and this thing being, you know, at the height of my chest, it's still a handful to kind of get it, but it works. I don't know. I'm not trying to complain, just kind of trying to illustrate the level of difficulty. But I'll tell you what, getting this thing buttoned up is relatively easy and painless. I mean, I would say like an overall, I don't have any issues closing this thing up. And then so the fit and finish is good. I like the fit and finish. The one thing I am concerned about, and I don't have any reason to complain because it hasn't posed an issue, driving in the rain, a little bit of snow and ice, these sorts of things, I haven't had any issues, but there is a gap. Right here at this corner, I can put my fingers in there, and I don't have very thin fingers. So I don't know, it's just a little interesting that there's a gap right here. The rest of the, the rest of the area is sealed up pretty good though. There are a couple little features that I've left out, like there's a mat that goes underneath the ladder to help keep sand and stuff from coming in. I haven't found a use for that as of yet. I still have it. There's some buckles on the inside to help hold things in place, but I'm not sure what those are for. One of them broke. I don't know, it's sewn in somewhere on the liner and it broke, so I don't even know what the function is for. So I guess probably it would have been a good idea for me to read the instructions before ever really using the tent, but I don't know, I didn't, and so I guess that's the only thing I can say is maybe read the instructions and you can have a better experience than I have. But I really like it. I like the tent a lot. I'm glad I woke up in it this morning. I mean, I slept in way late. I don't think I climbed downstairs until 8 a.m. And yeah, it's I like it. I like it a lot. I'm glad I have it, and I look forward to more excursions, doing exploring with it. It seems to be suiting me fine, and look forward to more of these shakedowns. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching, and tune into the next video. Take care, everyone.